assistant when they won the national championship. And Courtney Banghart has taken her teams to 4 straight NCAA appearances. And their 3 losses this year to UConn, Georgia Tech, and Notre Dame, all of them quality teams. And we are underway. Alyssa Ustby had a triple-double, but not a good one in the last game. Gokdang, good idea to get her started early.
Yeah, Gokdang really struggled against Duke in foul trouble, didn't get a lot of minutes, couldn't quite get into a rhythm, and that's going to be the advantage for Carolina, going on the interior early.
And Boston College has used at least 7 different starting lineups. Athena Tomlinson getting the start, the true freshman at point guard. Kayla Ivey is available, but their team captain sprained an ankle in practice earlier this week. We did see her out on the floor last night at practice, and we expect her to get some minutes. Njai with the turnaround. Some contact with Donarski, but nothing called. And now Navarre gets it into Ustby. Around the horn, Donarski, a little bit too much. And the ball is taken down by Njai, who is a sophomore from Senegal. High school ball in the U.S. Donarski gets the Sidbury miss, and Sidbury shooting is a good thing for Coach Mack.
Yeah, Coach Mack really wants Taya Sidbury to not, she doesn't need to make those shots, but she certainly wants her to take them to keep the defense honest.
Yeah, she's a prodigious scorer. In fact, the most points in Utah high school history, as Ustby has one fall off the rim. There's Sidbury with the ball right now. Utah transfer. Wagner against Ustby. That's a good matchup.
Oh, and it's going to be a challenge for Carolina on the guarding the perimeter of Boston College. You don't really have a true post player for the Eagles, so they're going to spread you out, play 5 out, look to attack those gaps.
And there's a travel on Gokdang that turns the ball over to BC. Gokdang knows Boston College very well. She played her first 2 years there for Coach Mack. This is her second year for North Carolina. Only limited to about 17.5 minutes against Duke and then fouled out.
My goodness, Tomlinson almost didn't get it across the half-court line.
Tomlinson, a true freshman from Fresno, California. She is not the tallest of guards, but Coach Mack really likes her. Navarre with the takeaway. Navarre, the Stanford transfer who came back home to North Carolina a couple of years ago. Gokdang and Todd really mixing it up underneath. Wagner came over from the weak side to help out.
And you're going to see that defensively with Boston College. The more they switch, really trying to stay in front of Maria Gokdang. And if you're Carolina, you got to get the ball to the middle of the floor and look at that high-low.
Gokdang at 6'3". Kyle Kelly just able to outrun Tomlinson for the ball and then put it up and got hit, much to the surprise of Athena Tomlinson.
Courtney Banghart talked to us pregame, and taking care of the ball was one of her keys. And you see almost a turnover right there. And Reniya Kelly comes back. I don't really see the contact from that angle unless she brushed her on the elbow.
Kelly, a 74% free throw shooter. North Carolina as a team only around 65%. That is 16th in the ACC, which now has, I had to look this up, 18 teams. Yes. And that was a foul on a 3-point shot. So they got them all. Carolina out to the 5-2 lead early on. Todd, skilled player. Donarski defending her. Donarski, one of the better defenders in this league. Todd decides to attack the basket, and she drew the foul.
Well, Todd is one of those players who can stretch the defense. She can score in bunches. Again, when you look at the spacing for Boston College, they're going to have 5 around the perimeter. Just as much as their on-ball attacks, their off-ball movement and cutting is going to be key.
Todd, one of the captains on this team, is from Vaughan, Ontario. And one of the hardest workers on this squad, according to her head coach.
Well, she's been really good in ACC play on the road, averaging over 20 points a ball game.
Just over 12 points on average throughout the season, coming off a 20-point win against North Carolina State. The Eagles had a bye on Thursday night, so they have not played a game in a full week. Gokdang, looks like that's what they're going to try to do all day.
Yeah, and that's exactly where the advantage is on the interior. There is no one who can match a one-on-one Maria Gokdang. Ball pressure has to be better, though. You can't just allow that easy pass on the interior.
Sidbury took steps, so the ball goes back over to North Carolina, who already we have more points here than we had in the first quarter on Thursday night. That game between Duke and Carolina was 16-16 at the half.
Yeah, it was not a pretty game on the offensive end of the floor.
Zanarski.
And BC mixing up their defense, going from man-to-man, now in the zone. It's important to make sure that you find a body on the box out when you're playing the zone.
Navarre had a good look. Sidbury was able to take it away from Ustby.
That's a block.
Yep, and they got Kelly for it. And officials this afternoon, Mark Berger, Tyler Trimble, and Linda Miles, who played her college ball at Rutgers. Holding on to the ball, getting ready to give it to the inbounder.
I had a little chuckle with Linda Miles before the game, and every time I see her, because we played against each other in college, every time I see her, I ask her, why would you sign up to be an official? Right? Like, who wants to sign up to be an official? No, but certainly one of the best, one of the most fun people.
Did she have a good answer for you?
Well, you know, she said, I'd rather be this than a coach, so,
That's
you
true,
know.
that's true. At least she has that good sense. There's a hoop, and the foul. Todd able to get to Narski.
Again, the floor spacing opens up these driving lanes. There's no help rotation. That's a good, strong finish by Todd.
And you mentioned Todd averaging over 20 points per game in ACC road games. And she and Tania Latson are the only ACC players with multiple 20-point games on the road in conference play. Latson having like a first-team All-American kind of year.
She sure is. And struggled with a little bit of injury last year, but we saw that her freshman season as well, her ability to score and score in bunches. I'm not sure that there's anybody in the country who can check her one-on-one.
Yeah, just a tremendous player for Florida State. Anjai goes out. Tatum Green comes in, number 13 for the Eagles, a freshman from Baltimore, Maryland, who has great basketball lineage.
She sure does. Her mom, Chanel Wright Green, played here at North Carolina.
She's in the building. Wagner, NC State transfer with the miss. There's Chanel's little girl missing on the follow. Carolina does not have numbers. They wait for the trail three for Navarre. She missed it wide left, and the ball goes over to the Eagles.
There's her mom, Chanel. Chanel and I played against each other in college as well when she was here at Carolina and I was at Purdue. So proud of her daughter, the opportunity that she has in front of her. And I said I hadn't seen Tatum since she was about a middle schooler, right? So when I saw her last night at practice, I could not believe that she was legit 6'3".
Yeah, she is. Averaging 4.5 points per game off the bench for BC. And wipe that basket. They are calling.
Yeah, again, the spacing on the floor. This time, the rotation there. Offensive foul call.
First one on Sidbury, pardon me.
And that's a growth area. Coach Mack was talking to us last night at practice about this. When you drive into the paint, when you see the rotation, making the right read, making the right play, that's one of those sprays to that corner, get an open three when you get teams in rotation, not over-penetrating.
She really likes his team, says they have great chemistry off the floor. They're still waiting to find it on the floor a little bit as Ustby rolls one in for her first basket. And she says to Coach Mack that it takes a while to really get used to her system and her scheme.
It does, and this is a team that has struggled. So when you struggle, you're trying to find the right balance. You see a lot of different lineups, putting more defensive-oriented lineups out there, maybe more balanced offensive and defensive. But they've also had a tough start to ACC play when you think about who they've played.
But they're close right now. North Carolina up 9-7 as we take our first time out in Chapel Hill. Of Homer the Dragon, who is the Charlotte Knights mascot. They're all here to celebrate Ramsey's birthday. Ramsey's is the mascot for North Carolina. He's got a good seat.
He does have a great
right
seat.
Next to John Mabry, just to the left of us.
I think he wants our job.
Okay. Homer's going the wrong way. Homer's at least, he's dressed for the weather.
He is dressed for the weather, that is for sure.
Yeah, we had some snow here in the Triangle a couple of days ago. They're not used to it here as that ball turns over. As the fourth turnover for BC. Heard there was a measurable snow for over 1,000 days here.
That's incredible. It is a lot.
So here we go, North Carolina. With the basketball, Ustby guarded by Green. And then Kelly hits the first three by either team today. She is the second most threes on this team behind Donarski. Carolina did not hit a three until the second half against Duke. That's an ankle breaker move by Savannah Samuel. Samuel at BC, which is her third school, a year at Oregon State and a couple years at West Virginia. Sat out last year. Donarski answers with a three of her own.
The ball movement, making the right reads against the changing defenses of Boston College. Courtney Banghart said, I don't want our team focused on what they're in. I want them focused on being aggressive, breaking down defense, making the right plays.
Right now, they can't hold on to the basketball. Goes back over to BC. Coming up next, our quadruple header rolls on in Louisville with the Cardinals hosting number 13 Georgia Tech, who just had their first loss of the year, and then cap off your day with Miami and Syracuse. And earlier today, as Donarski made a nice move, right? She passed up the three to get the mid-range. She got 5 quick points.
She sure did, and she didn't get a lot of open looks against Duke and made the one big three towards the end of the ball game. But Lexi Donarski is a player who has to get a little bit more involved, I feel like, on the offensive end.
Yeah, two very good defensive teams between North Carolina and Duke. And the game that went into overtime and still was only 53-46. That was the final. Ustby has picked up her first foul. Number 0 in white, Landy Grant, the freshman, has checked in for Carolina, as has Grace Townsend, number 2.
Gotta get it in.
They didn't do it in time. Turnover number 6, and really it's 4 in the last less than 3 minutes. So coming back in, Dina Tomlinson. Still have not seen Kayla Ivey, normally a starting guard. In practice a few days ago. There's Wagner now. Grant, good job to cut her off, and they got away with steps, but Wagner gets her second basket of the day.
And Octavia Wagner, she's so active on the defensive end of the floor. You're going to see her matched up with Gokdang. Yep, that's the right call. Still sliding sideways, moving laterally.
Wagner last year ACC all-defensive team and had a BC record 99 steals on the season.
So she's just an active defender. They're a late switch, just couldn't quite get in position.
She has some like stickers on her face today. That's the first time I've seen that.
It is?
Well, in college.
Oh, okay.
Is that like a kid thing to do when you play basketball on the circuit? Gokdang, man, when she gets it that deep, it's usually lights out, but she was unable to put it home. Wagner spin move on Ustby, but it just goes off the rim. Good second effort by Njai. Bailey, nope, and there you see Njai go over the back. to pick up her second foul.
For your team that's struggling offensively, oftentimes you pass up good shots and take shots that aren't quite as good. So I felt like if you're going to take that shot, if you're Daly, take it in the flow, take it off the pass. Instead, she didn't take that open shot, took a little sidestep dribble, and then shooting off the bounce. And oftentimes, I think you overthink it. Don't take your rhythm shots. Don't take your right reads. And I think that's where Coach Mack is struggling with this group right now.
In the bonus, Olaney Grant, who is an excellent free throw shooter, hit all 7 of them in the game against Duke on Thursday. Before the Duke game, she was hitting only 67% from the line, and that's her first miss in the last couple of games. But if it's a lane violation, she'll get a second chance. And little things like that eat at you, right? She misses a free throw, and you get a freebie.
The margin for error is so much smaller for Boston College, making sure that you take care of all of those details.
A little bit of pressure with Townsend and Tomlinson. Yeah, Benarski grabbed the hand of Todd. So that is 2 on Lexi. Benarski goes out, and Sierra Toomey, a redshirt freshman, checks in. And we see Blanca Thomas, number 34 for Carolina. She was really important Thursday against Duke when Gokdang got into foul trouble.
She was. She came in and she gave Carolina really good minutes. She was a presence on the interior. Another young player who stepped up and made big free throws down the stretch.
Has really good hands, and Coach Banghart says the freshman is going to be really good. You noticed her footwork as well. There's Todd at the line, coming off 20 points in their last game against NC State, has represented Canada. A lot of international play. Second leading scorer, just behind Wagner this season. Is a Richmond transfer. And they're going to get another foul on Tomlinson out on the perimeter. It's a couple on her. And again, with Ivy's situation up in the air, they're thin in the backcourt. And it looked like Ivy was about to get up and go in the game, and Coach Mack sat her down. Yep, she was halfway up.
She was halfway up. And, you know, there's kind of the pros and cons of putting Ivy in these situations with the ankle injury, the lateral movement, and the quickness of these UNC guards. Can you keep them in front?
Instead, Wagner subbed into the game. Townsend in her first year at North Carolina, 4 years at Richmond. She was first team All-Atlantic 10 last year. Great career for the Spiders. Gets them both.
So this is the lineup for Boston College they call the committee group, right? There's a point guard by committee. You don't have a true point guard on the floor. Can Carolina take advantage of that and get some turnovers for scores?
And their pressure defense has been terrific all year. In fact, they're first in the ACC in several defensive categories, the important ones like scoring and field goal percentage.
And they change it up after the free throw. We'll come to this 3-2 zone.
Scrum for the ball. And the possession arrow will keep it with BC. Boston College coming into this game losers of 3 straight, but boy, this is a tough stretch for them. Louisville, Duke, and NC State lost all 3 of them, and they had a chance in that Louisville game to win.
They did. They had a chance down the stretch and then sort of collapsed, and Louisville took advantage.
Tied up in the lane. Yep. And North Carolina bench was asking for a 3-second violation, and they got it. 7th turnover for the Eagles. Carolina getting some free throws, but they've hit 4 of their last 5 field goals, but none in the last 2.5 minutes. Townsend took steps before she drove to the basket. 4th giveaway for the Heels. by Ustby. As we approach 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. Wagner right into Thomas, not the best place to go.
No, and again, the decision making, driving into three defenders and the extra pass to the corners right there.
Townsend looks over to Coach Banghart. 4-second difference between the clocks. Ustby doesn't take a lot of threes. In fact, Alyssa Ustby has not hit 1 3 in any of their losses. Her numbers between wins and losses are marked. It's 12.5 points per game when they win, less than half that when they lose. Can they get a shot off? Todd. Not her. It's Green! Chanel Wright's kid gets her mom to jump up into this. Turn to Coach Hatchell. They have kept in touch throughout the years. Kelly goes inside. They weren't really looking for her a lot on Thursday. They found her there.
Well, they should have been. There were a lot of missed opportunities to get Blanca Thomas touches in that last game against Duke. I'm sure that Coach Courtney Banghart showed that on the film. This is a player that I think throughout the course of ACC season, you're going to continue to see her blossom.
She's a legit 6'5". Now goes out on the perimeter, and that allows Samuel to attack the rim.
And that's going to be the challenge, right, against this Boston College team. The bigs for North Carolina, can you defend on the perimeter? If you're to BC, you want to take advantage of that.
Toomey did a good job keeping her toes off the midcourt line. Shot clock into single digits. They try to go inside. Again, great hustle by Todd. And that's a shot clock violation. Well, we're going to look at the shot clock as it goes to 20 seconds, pardon me, after the attempted save by Todd.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. I think they called a reset, thinking that Todd had possession of the ball.
Yeah, they did. So it's a full reset to 30. I don't know about that. Well, you can see Thomas with such a height advantage underneath, working against Samuel, who's at least 4 inches shorter. Samuel gets the rebound. Todd, good look and a good result, buries the three from the top of the lane.
And Pam, that's the difference. When you don't over-penetrate, you draw the second defender, and then you make the right read and the right pass, you get open looks.
Todd has 10 at Boston College's 21 points, and it's only a 2-point ball game. Carolina's led by as many as 8. Navarre fumbled it, couldn't get out of it. Todd sticks her hands in there, and it's a turnover. Goes over to Boston College. 5th giveaway for Carolina. As Grant goes out, Donarski comes back in, and here comes Gokdeng for Thomas, and Ustby comes in. So 3 changes for Coach Banghart here. Getting her starters back into the game. This is their starting lineup on the court right now.
You feel Boston College gaining a little bit of momentum. Want to get your starting group back in. Good read. See that hesitation.
Back to Todd, guarded by Kelly. With the switch. Todd goes right at Gokdeng, but the reverse wouldn't go, and a foul on North Carolina on the rebound attempt. Navarre picks up the foul for the Heels. Navarre now has a couple of personals. She has yet to score in this game. She was scoreless at halftime on Thursday before she had a nice 7-point spurt in the 3rd quarter. Todd is smooth.
She really is. I mean, she's a player that can get her shot whenever she wants to. She doesn't really force it. Does a great job of getting to the free throw line as well.
Ustby just got fouled. It's a 10-2 BC run that has tied up this game. 2.5 minutes since Carolina has scored. So Ustby heads to the free throw line. She's only a 58% shooter. Got that one to fall in. Saturday, ACC Network, a men's basketball triple header starts off with Wake Forest at Virginia Tech. Then Notre Dame goes to Syracuse, and then Cal at NC State, all on the ACC Network on Saturday and the ESPN app. Notre Dame falling to Duke yesterday at Cameron after Duke had a big lead. Notre Dame made it close.
They certainly did. The three-point shot, the great equalizer.
Cooper Flagg had himself an afternoon.
Man, that kid is special. He not just his ability to score, but his pace, his passing. He's a guy who plays mature beyond his years.
ACC freshman record 42 points for Flagg. And you think of all the great players that have come through the ACC, and no one's done that until Flagg. Meanwhile, here, Navarre just picked up her third foul for Carolina and has gone to the bench. Townsend comes back in. Wagner spinning, traveling, and disagreeing with the call. Wagner with 4 points so far. Only 4 Eagles have scored, led by Todd's 12. Carolina feasting on the turnovers, 10 of their 24 points coming off of them, and Gokdang was held as she tried to go to the rim. And boy, the size difference is just staggering right now. Gokdang at 6'3", might be taller.
And if you watch the way that Boston College is playing Alyssa Ustby at the three-point line, when she gets into that high post area as well, they're backing off once she has the ball. But when you back off, you've got to back off in a position that you're actually helping your post defender, right? So you can't be in an in-between where you're not pressuring the ball, but you're not helping on the over-the-top pass. And the last couple of possessions when Gokdang has gotten a touch, they've been in a gray area.
So it's not necessarily just getting her the ball, right? Exactly where. Timing is everything. That foul was on Daly, who picked up her first foul. Donarski gets it into Kelly. Shot clock down to 5 for Townsend, and she threw it away right into the hands of Samuel. And now Wagner running the floor beautifully with the finish. And BC takes its first lead of the game. Donarski floats too much. Todd gets it and goes. You mentioned they don't have a true point guard. Buried Daly's first points. Boston College on an 11-1 run.
Offense, yep.
So Gokdang picks up the foul, but BC on a roll.
Well, turning offense from your defense is going to be important for Boston College. Get some easy buckets. That's just a terrific take by Dontavia Wagner. And then offensively, good job by Daly of knocking down the pull-up.
Daly averaging about 10 points per game, has been coming off the bench for BC as Coach Mack is trying to find the best combinations. Got the ball in her hands now. Over Gokdang, and that missed just about everything. Opportunity in transition with Wagner trailing the play, 5-on-4. Gokdang goes across the lane and puts it in to end the drought. There have been no field goals for over 4 minutes for Carolina before that bucket. And now the crowd trying to induce them to get a stop. Green gets the friendly roll.
Yeah, that's a good read and good patience by Green. You didn't need to do anything other than just turn around and shoot over the top of the undersized Reniya Kelly.
Green at 6'3", Kelly at 5'7". Townsend sneaks inside for her first field goal of the afternoon. Lead back down to 1. Green driving against Gokdang. And here comes Ustby after the board. Donarski for 3, off. Here comes Daly. Carolina scored only 7 points in this quarter. Now here's a foul as Donarski and Todd got tied up. So Boston College storming back. They lead by 1 as we take a timeout.
Todd has been terrific on the offensive end for Boston College. She has 12 of their 29, aggressive to the rim, knocking down jumpers. She's also got herself to the free throw line. And Coach Mack talked to us last night about Todd's ability to be a go-to scorer for them. And she's got to have that mindset. I mean, she's averaging just over 12 points a ball game. That's up to just over 15 in conference play. And being that go-to scorer, it's a lot of responsibility, but she's a player who is up for it and ready for it.
And you see the numbers for Todd. She is the only player on either team in double figures so far today. And some foul trouble now for North Carolina as Lexi Donarski picked up her 3rd foul right before we went to that last timeout. Navarre also with 3 for Carolina. There's a foul on the baseline. We're going to get Townsend.
Yeah, I think they got Reniya Kelly for that one.
Yeah, pardon me. Thank you, Steph. That's 2 on Kelly. And Boston College in the bonus. Here's Daly. 72% free throw shooter this season, a senior out of Miami. Coming off the bench the last couple of games. Gray gets them both. Extends the lead to 3. This is the biggest lead of the game for BC. Both teams shooting well from the line so far. So no Donarski out there, no Navarre, no problem. There's Grant. The freshman seems to have kind of like ice water in her veins. She'll take a shot. She's only 17. Came out of high school a year early.
Yeah, reclassified, got here a year early. She's one of those players who is not fazed by the moment at all.
Mack was a little perplexed by some of her decision-making against Duke, but Duke is such a defensively disruptive team, but kid who's just going to get better. And boy, I tell you, Daly's feeling it. Gives herself a couple of claps after hitting that shot. BC shooting well here in the 2nd quarter. There's Grant. And that's a turnover for Townsend, who took a little shuffle. 8 turnovers now for the Heels.
Well, good job making the extra pass in the zone. Well, when you're in zone defense, you got to move when the ball moves. And Carolina does a great job of finding the open shooter.
BC has hit 5 of its last 7 shots. Number 16 in the game is Lily Krasovic, sophomore from Hungary. Contact. And the foul against BC. No bucket.
No, great rotation by Ustby down low. You understand the drive is coming. Todd not able to stop her forward momentum.
Is the first foul on Todd. As we approach 3 minutes to go in the first half. BC hitting 50% from the floor. Carolina right behind. Grant trying to go for 2 in a row. Being brought up by Samuel. Todd, Grant just for a second got out of position. Gokdeng with the rebound. Grant thought about pulling it again. Todd took it away from her, and Grant fouled her. First one on Laney.
Grant just got her in transition, but what an opportunity for Boston College to get to the free throw line, take advantage. They're 74% free throw shooters as a team. Get an opportunity to get some easy ones.
Yeah, they shoot 78% from the line in league play. Todd at the line where she is 5 for 5 this afternoon. Thursday at 10 Eastern, after our women's basketball doubleheader, the Nothing But Net crew breaks down the night in the ACC with highlights and analysis of every women's game and a look ahead to the best matchups of the weekend. Check it out on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Ivory Latta among them. She's in studio this afternoon. Her jersey number, banner, hangs in the rafters here. She's pretty good.
She's a Carolina legend, Ivory Latta.
Grant, that's out of control, and no foul call.
And those are some of those decision-making questions that Courtney Banghart sometimes has. But again, Laney Grant, a young player, you mentioned 17 years old, won't turn 18 until April. It's an adjustment, learning what's a good shot, what's not, how quickly the game is played in conference play versus some of the non-conference opponents. Learning on the fly.
Grant goes to the bench. Jordan Zubic, a freshman from Minnesota, comes in. First time we've seen her, number 3. Up into single digits now for Daly, who shot it over Ustby. Biggest lead of the game for the Eagles. It's a 6-point advantage. They have been down by as many as 8. That was Carolina's lead after 1 quarter of play. Ustby answers. Picked up her dribble. Trying to get it inside. Todd, good look into Daly, but it was blocked. Second chance didn't work either for Samuel. And now Kelly with the drive. And action, Njai fouled. Good pace in the last minute or so of this game.
It has been a good pace. And Boston College, an outstanding offensive rebounding team. They rebound nearly 40% of their misses. They haven't quite been able to convert those into buckets for themselves here today.
First foul on Zubic.
But I like that they keep coming at you.
Yeah.
Right, Coach Mack talked to us about, like, this team plays hard. They are competitive. They just haven't quite put it together on both ends of the floor.
Njai at the line, and I guess the mantra when we were here at practice last night, she said, make something happen every time you have the ball. Wants them to be aggressive, wants them to be feisty. That's kind of Coach Mack's personality as well.
Yes, absolutely. And to not overthink, to not get in your head so much that you get a little bit of paralysis by analysis.
You see up 5 as we hit a minute to go in the half. Boston College running a 3-game losing streak at a very difficult portion of their schedule in the league. Beat Carolina last year up in Chestnut Hill. Shot clock winds down. Zubic got it blocked, but a foul. She was a clean block up top, but Njai got her with her body. And that is the 3rd on Nene.
Yeah, the rotation is there. I don't love that call. I think she jumps vertically. She makes contact up top. The contact on the bottom, I felt like, was because Zubic was coming into her. You know, the vertical jump. I don't love that call.
And neither does Coach Mack, who's getting an explanation. Zubic rolls one in. Got them both. 3-point ball game. Samuel, a lot of dribbling, and that's a kick by Ustby. It's the shot clock back to 20. Perhaps an advantage there for BC. Looks a little discombobulated on that possession.
Well, now you got time and score situations too. If you're BC, you want to make sure you get a quality possession.
Guarded by Townsend.
Got a mismatch. Not that one.
Nope. They missed it. But somehow the ball gets into Samuel's hands. A broken play.
Great hustle. Extra effort by Tatum Green to keep that possession alive.
All right, here we go. The last 7 seconds of the half. Kelly fires and hits. It's a long two for Reniya Kelly, but a great way to end the half for North Carolina.
Point in the game. I think they've got to get a little bit more from their experienced backcourt and front court.
Konarski had 3 fouls that put her on the bench. She misses the first shot she takes. Athena Tomlinson getting the start at guard. Her 3rd start of the season, number 0, the smallest player on the floor. And they want Sidbury to shoot more. That one had too much on it. Sidbury did not score at all in the first half. So she missed both of her shots so far in this game. Prolific scorer in high school. A little creativity for Ustby. He's got 7. Ustby with a double-double against Duke, 10 points, 12 rebounds, but she also had 11 turnovers, which kind of flabbergasted her coach. She has no turnovers in this game so far. Much better from Ustby.
And North Carolina as a team, uncharacteristic in their turnovers against Duke. Shot clock's winding down. BC doesn't recognize.
Not at all. Sidbury had no idea.
This is what you expect, though. You expect a response from North Carolina. Coming out of the locker room at halftime, you know, being aggressive to the rim, looking to take advantage on the interior, but picking it up on the defensive end of the floor.
They had a response Thursday against Duke when they scored the first 16 points of the 3rd quarter. Duke missed their first 14 shots. They eventually lost in overtime. Navarre, her first points. Carolina takes the lead. First time they've been up since it was 24-23 in the 2nd quarter. That's the way you want to start it. You're here in Carolina blue. And a timeout taken by Coach Burnaby McNamee as Carolina comes out and hits their last 3 shots.
Yeah, aggressive to the rim. I mean, Alyssa Ustby knocking down the reverse, the tough finish.
North Carolina has scored 6 points to start off this 3rd quarter, and what we saw Wednesday against Duke, with the first 3 games, North Carolina defense in the conference, they played Miami, Notre Dame, and Georgia Tech. Different story, great defense against Duke.
Yeah, it really was, and you know, forced Duke into 21 turnovers. Now they had 26 themselves, but really locked Duke down, and I anticipate more of that type of defense in the 2nd half here this afternoon.
And Duke, there's a job by Donarski. Good job to draw the charge on Green. He just came into the game. And
Yeah, that's just an over-penetration by Tatum Green. Gokdeng was there. Good job of taking the contact.
Yeah, pardon me, that was indeed Gokdeng, the former BC Eagle. And how about Duke just escaped down in Charlottesville today? Yeah, for most of that game.
For most of that game. And then when it came to winning time, able to get the stops and the finishes necessary to come away with the win.
Wagner spinning and drawing the foul on Donarski, and that will be 4 on Lexi.
BC has done a really good job of recognizing when Donarski's got a mismatch defensively on the interior and going at her, and whether that's on the post-up, whether that is attacking, but a good job there of Dontavia Wagner going one-on-one.
Donarski demonstrating what she thought happened as she sits down. Lainey Grant, the kind of pre-freshman, the preemie freshman comes in. Wagner misses the shot.
Is that a thing?
I could make it that way.
Yeah, I think you can, yeah.
She should be a senior in high school. Oh, she missed them both.
Did we get crumble cookies again?
Yes.
Right.
So the opponent misses 2 free throws in a row. Everybody gets crumble cookies, or at least a code to get a crumble cookie. Grant, good job to get rid of Green. The line was literally outside of the door for the crumble cookies the day after they beat Duke.
And it was snowing that day, too, so they were sacrificing.
There's a lot going on. They're looking for a cookie. Ball stays with BC. Boston College has actually split the last 8 games in this series, including a win for Coach Mack in Chestnut Hill last year. So they, even though they're down in the series, they have done a good job in the last 4 years. Wagner, a little funky delivery, goes in. BC gets back to within a point.
I think Gokdeng has to get some touches here. It has to be intentional. Yes, great look in the high-low. There's not a person on this floor one-on-one who can guard her. Yeah. She's got to get a touch every time down the floor.
Just what you ordered. Gokdeng gets it. Wagner aggressively to the hoop, and Ustby whistled for the foul. That was just the second on Ustby.
Well, Dontavia Wagner is really good at attacking, using her athleticism, getting to the rim.
Didn't appear to be a lot on that drive. Wagner is the only Eagle in the history of this program with 1,000 points, 500 rebounds, and 200 steals. She's been on a tear in her last 5 games scoring-wise. Gets both of those free throws. She's into double figures. Grant to Ustby, off glass, and the foul.
Great execution, and again, being very intentional about getting paint touches in this third quarter. And I like this. You invert Ustby and Grant. Usually you have your bigs at the elbow. This time Grant, and just the hard dive in, mismatch opportunity, and Ustby takes advantage.
Carolina was outscored in the paint in the first half. Todd picked up her second. Way too much on that shot by Wagner. And now Ustby in attack mode. Coming out in a whole different mindset here in the third quarter. The 3-ball wide right by Daly. Just one and done for BC. They're not getting any offensive rebounds, but they're getting a whole lot of Ustby.
I'd call another one if I'm Coach Mack right now.
Alyssa Ustby coming on like gangbusters here with 8 points in this quarter.
Well, able to get out in transition, and a good job of pushing off of missed shots. Ustby gets the 2, and Carolina can certainly exploit in the open floor.
lost 10 straight basketball games until North Carolina came to town. JoJo Lacey was terrific, 23 points, including 5 threes. And Boston College was able to take the game from Carolina. Maria Gokteng back to where she played the first 2 years of college, but that team fell, and Courtney Banghart knows all too well that BC is a scrappy team that can get some things done, splitting the last 8 games between them.
Yeah, was concerned about their ability to spread the floor and attack one-on-one, and BC took advantage of that in the second quarter, but North Carolina making a defensive statement early in this third.
They're giving up 4 points so far. BC 1 for 5 from the floor in the quarter, while Carolina's hit 7 of their 10 shots. Navarre almost forced the turnover. 14 seconds to shoot. Samuel bottled up, and then it is taken away as the pass got away from Todd. Grant, charge. It's a second on her.
Yeah, I don't agree with that call. I thought that was a blocking foul. But you see just the more intensity on the defensive end for Carolina. They had 10 points off of turnovers in the first quarter, 0 in the second quarter when Boston College was able to make that run. And Courtney Banghart addressing her team at halftime, coming out with much more effort and energy.
Tie up another turnover. 16-16 Thursday at the half between Duke and Carolina, and Coach told us that she went back and only watched the second half and overtime of that game. But they look at some clips at halftime from what had just happened to try to correct some things.
Yeah, it was a struggle, and and I think that it's a team in Carolina that typically takes great care of the basketball. They were careless with it. It kept them from getting easy opportunities. Now, fortunately for them, as Kelly gets an easy bucket, fortunately they were able to lock in on the defensive end of the floor, have that strong start in the third quarter, and in overtime that allowed them to get the victory.
And they've had a very strong third quarter here. That's tipped out, stays with BC. 21 seconds to shoot.
But when you're a team that's in the position that North Carolina is in, it's about consistency. Right, we talked about it on Thursday. They needed a win against a quality opponent. They got it. Now it's about, can we build consistency throughout the course of conference play to position ourselves for the best case scenario in the NCAA tournament.
Right now, Charlie Cream has them as a 5 seed. Sidbury finally gets her first field goal of the game. Gokteng could not get the follow, but at 6'5", or listed at 6'3", I think she's 165. She goes down to the floor. Possession arrow goes to the Eagles. North Carolina team that has been really good defensively, a strong bench performance. All 3 of their losses to quality squads in UConn, Georgia Tech, and Notre Dame. Wagner driving on Ustby, took steps, and they got her for it. 16th turnover now for the Eagles. Average just under 17 per game for Coach Mack. Navarre, that's a drawn charge. Now 4 on Navarre. So both Navarre and Donarski, 2 starters, have 4 fouls.
Yeah, and I think they got just the lowering of the shoulder and the impact. Dontavia Wagner taking that contact. And yes, you mentioned it with Navarre and Donarski, both with 4 fouls. She's going to stay in the ball game right now. All 4 of her points coming in this quarter. Now, just got it out of the trap. Samuel.
Navarre. She doesn't care that she's got 4 fouls. She was going right in, and she drew a foul this time.
I like how aggressive she's been. We've seen this now two games in a row. It's in the third quarter. If India Navarre starts a ball game like this, getting aggressive to the rim, forcing defensive rotations.
Now Donarski's going to come back in with her 4 fouls. That last one called on Daly for BC, her first. Navarre played her freshman year at Stanford. Well, she wore number 12 at Stanford, but you can't wear number 12 here. Irilata claimed and in the rafters. So she doubled it to become 24. So Navarre sits down. Donarski comes in. Samuel got Gokdang right there. Gokdang is closing in on 200 career blocks.
Good help side rotation by Gokdang. Does a great job of getting a hand on that ball. And again, this lineup for Boston College that doesn't really have a true point guard on the floor. And if you're Carolina, do you get a little bit more aggressive? Do you start trapping a little bit more? Try to force some turnovers and give yourself a cushion.
There's a charge. Gokdang drew it that time.
That's the second offensive foul drawn by Maria Gokdang. Again, terrific positioning, getting herself there, taking the contact.
It's 3 fouls now on Todd, the leading scorer for BC today, but she's not scored here in the second half. Grant, they really, just a totally different mindset in the third quarter. Hacking the basket. Sidbury for 3, knew it was short. Sidbury, her second year at BC, played her freshman year at Utah. She's from Salt Lake City. Now Coach Mack takes her out. Just 6 points for Boston College in this quarter so far. Going for Gokdang. Great save. Ustby. Daly inside. Gokdang lost Njai, but Njai couldn't get the bucket to fall.
Just missed opportunities. You get an easy one. You want to try to stop the bleeding.
Gokdang saved it.
So we saw the scrappy nature of Boston College, particularly in the second quarter, getting the extra possessions, making the hustle plays, being the aggressor. And this flip, the script has flipped right in the third quarter, and it's been all Carolina.
The charge has been called on Ustby. The basket doesn't count, and Daly's a little shaken up for BC.
I think that's Daly coming down on the arm.
Go and look at the monitor on that last call. Daly is
call on
up.
the floor is a personal foul. Previous play is in a review.
Yeah, I mean, you could see Ustby had the elbow out going to the rim, but and the contact right there. That's a tough one. I mean,
and the gesture by Linda Miles, who called the foul. She threw her elbow out as a demonstration of what she saw, and therefore called it a charge on Ustby. If it holds, it will be the third foul on Ustby. Navarre and Donarski both have 4 personals for North Carolina. Carolina now with a 10-point lead, outscoring BC 19-6. In the third quarter, Boston College, they only had 2 turnovers in the second quarter. In this quarter, they have more turnovers than points. 7 turnovers and just 6 points for BC. And there's the visual evidence of the foul trouble if this charge holds up on Ustby.
Yeah, it certainly is. And if you're BC and you're in the penalty, you got to try to find a way to get to the free throw line, get some easy buckets. They did that so well in that second quarter. And despite the run, you know, looking at the score, you're still in a striking distance. You got to get a little bit of momentum before you head into the fourth quarter. And the officials going back to this review, you know, it's a tough one because I didn't feel like Ustby really extended or threw that elbow. It was just kind of the natural motion. They are going to upgrade it. Anytime there's that
the previous
contact
play has been
the
upgraded
face.
to an intentional foul on white 1, unnecessary contact to the head. Anybody from Boston College will shoot 2 free throws, and they will get the ball at the division line.
But I do think those are hard ones, right? Because there wasn't a throwing of the elbow. I think it stayed pretty much in the same spot. But as she went forward and really made the contact with the face, you know, those are tough calls.
The charge has been upgraded, but they're very cognizant, certainly, in getting in the head and face area.
Yes.
And that's, I think, is what did her in. And she has a conversation with one of the officials, and Todd misses the first free throw. Still looking for her first point of the second half. She's now up to 15. Enjai going to throw it in with her team now down by 9. They led by 3 at the half.
There you see the trapping, being aggressive. No primary ball handler on the floor for Boston College.
Tough turnaround shot by Daly is grabbed by Gokdang. Kowarski playing with 4 fouls, gets it over to Kelly. Kelly will step back, hits it. We'd love to see Reniya Kelly do more of that, right? She's got the skill set.
I really like Reniya Kelly. You know, I think she's a mature point guard. Obviously, if you've watched her from a year ago to this year, she is really committed to being in great shape. She had a lot of injuries a year ago. I think she can even be more aggressive offensively.
Bank shot, they'll take it at this point. Daly knocks it down. Her first points of the second half. She's got 10 overall. Kelly was shut down last year, February 11th, a game against Duke. Didn't play the rest of the year, the lower body injury. Foul against Boston College as they try to get it inside to Gokdang.
Reniya Kelly, only a sophomore, but really plays much more like a veteran guard. Does a great job of using her body, creating that space. We mentioned her commitment to getting herself in great shape. You know, from a year ago, struggled with injuries throughout the course of last season. And the consummate point guard leader. At the same time, I think she can be a more aggressive offensively.
Coming up next, our quadruple header rolls on in Louisville as the Cardinals welcome in number 13, Georgia Tech. And cap off your day at 6 Eastern with Miami at Syracuse. Miami about to experience very different weather.
Yes.
Not Coral Gables anymore.
No, it's not.
Final minute here in the third quarter. Wagner bottled up. One of the few good looks on the perimeter for BC, and Todd makes them pay. She's now got 18. Good teams with 3 threes. Reniya Kelly, when we talked to Coach Banghart, says she's a dog. Just really loves her mentality. Even last year as a young freshman, you could see it. And look at Kelly take it away and then get fouled.
Her leadership, her communication, just really having a grasp on what Coach Banghart wants.
Coach says she's her voice on the floor. You really need that, and that's something that BC is lacking because they don't have a true point guard.
And, you know, certainly not one that they feel good about leaving on the floor at this point. You know, Kayla Ivey, with the ankle injury, has not played in this ball game, injured it earlier in the week in practice. And when you think about Athena Tomlinson, a young player really trying to figure it out early in her career as well.
Wagner just picked up her third personal foul. Here's Kayla Ivey. We thought we would see her today. She wasn't a full participant in practice yesterday, but it doesn't look like Coach Mack is going to chance putting her in. Kelly hits them both. The Eagles will be going to Miami for their next game. It will be on Thursday. Kelly gets a well-deserved round of applause as she sits down, and Grace Townsend comes in. Townsend and Lainey Grant out there at the same time. They were high school teammates in Midlothian, Virginia, from the same hometown, I should say. And a turnover, number 18 for the Eagles. The third quarter has belonged to Carolina. Down 3 at the break. They've outscored them so far 23-12. Todd goes out. She's playing with 3 fouls. Good move, so she doesn't pick up another one. Their leading scorer today. Donarski couldn't get it off in time, but Carolina, just like Thursday against Duke, had a very productive third quarter. They have an 8-point cushion as we head to the fourth. At the break, but they shot 59% in the third quarter, Steph, and they were a lot more aggressive going to the basket.
They were a lot more aggressive on both ends of the floor, holding Boston College to 30% from the floor. They got some turnovers that allowed them to get out in transition. They were able to run off of some missed shots as well. You know, this is a Carolina team that's looking to find consistency on both ends. They've been really good defensively throughout the course of this season, and now they're trying to find it offensively as well.
10 of their points in that third quarter came off of turnovers. The same thing in the first quarter. 0 points off turnovers in between, but they really turned it up to get this 8-point advantage. Townsend with the miss.
But BC has to feel pretty good about it. That was not a great quarter, the third quarter for them, still being in striking distance. It's can you find some offensive fluidity? Can you find those reads that you got in the second quarter? Make the right decisions.
Sidbury with a good look at the 3. She's really struggled today. She's 1 of 5 from the floor. She's missed all 4 of her shots from beyond the arc. Coach Mack trying to get her more involved in the offense, but the shots aren't falling. She said she'd rather her be 0 for 20 today than 2 for 3.
Yes.
She wanted her to take those shots. They just haven't gone down. Shot clock. Really skinny now for Townsend. Block. Like. And a shot clock violation. Layla Hall from Zionsville, Indiana. That's your neck of the woods.
Some Indiana Hoosiers in the building, and I don't mean the university.
Never, right?
No.
Redshirted last year. We had an injury at high school in Zionsville. Block over there by Thomas, who has not seen a lot of playing time today. Was instrumental in the victory on Thursday night.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup for Blanca Thomas against a team that plays 5 out. This time does a great job in help defense coming over. I mean, she's limited minutes, but she's still tied for 10th in the league in block shots at over 1 a game. You know, she can make her presence known, but when you know you're going to have a tough matchup defensively, you got to be a bear offensively. So I think they got to give her some looks on the interior.
She certainly has the height advantage, as you see Sidbury trying to check her.
There you go. Oh. in that situation, Dontavia Wagner really with the heavy help. You got to find Donarski on that skip.
Donarski misses it. Just over 8 minutes to go. See, in her final year of eligibility, second year here after 3 years at Iowa State. Sidbury, the tough turnaround over Thomas. Bodies hit the floor. Foul is on Tatum Green. Her third. Green had 5 points all in the first half, including a three-pointer at the end of the first quarter. Still looking for our first points from either team over 2 minutes into the fourth. A lot of inexperienced players out there right now for Carolina. Navarre, not one of them, count it.
I think this is an opportunity for Courtney Banghart to really extend her rotation, get some of these players quality in-game minutes as India Navarre continues in the second half to be aggressive to the rim.
Samuels first. Navarre shut out in the first half. Has 8 points. Hall, redshirt freshman, guarding Townsend. Amy Grant, who is a freshman, who should be a senior in high school, and Grace Townsend, who even though she is a grad student, this is her first year at North Carolina. So an inexperienced backcourt here for the Heels out on the floors. As you mentioned, Steph, trying to get some minutes for them. 11 different Tar Heels have played today. All picked up the foul, and she is now exited. Wagner somehow drew the block call.
That's India Navarre. I think that's 5. Dontavia Wagner was able to sell that call because of how she split the defense, because Navarre certainly was there in time.
So Navarre fouls out, all 8 of her points coming in the second half. Sends Wagner to the line. Second time that Navarre has fouled out of a game this season. But that's not helping. Wagner missed them both. As a team, they're shooting 69% from the free throw line, but mostly because Todd is 8 for 9. Navarre fouled out and only played 16 minutes. Tatum Green has picked up her 4th foul for BC. That's the way to work it. You get it in with the 6'5" Blanca Thomas.
And it was a great pass by Townsend, anticipating the extra help on the screen, and good hands by Thomas.
BC being shut out so far in the 4th quarter. Wagner, the mismatch on Kelly, and another whistle.
This is good anticipation by Townsend. She understands that there's going to be a short window. She's able to find it.
So Wagner goes back to the free throw line where she just missed a couple. Boston College has only scored 12 points since the break, make it 13. Good hunt of the rebound there by Daly. Todd, who has been relatively quiet here in the second half. Gets it out to Daly. Thought about the three, but decided to keep the possession going. Now they need a shot, and they're not going to get it.
And these are some of the growth areas for Boston College. And Coach Mack talked about this. You know, you can see her saying, shoot the ball, passing up shots, but they drove it to the same spot on the floor 3 straight times. When you get it out, if you're not going to shoot that thing, you got to get the ball reversed. You got to get it across the midline. You got to get an attack because everybody on the floor was in that same short corner.
Now 20 turnovers for the Eagles. Ball kept alive. Njai comes up with it. 20 turnovers by BC, turning into 20 points for UNC. Wagner trying to do a lot by herself. Townsend comes away with it. Ustby wants it, gets it, and scores it.
Well, that's her move, the step through,
right?
You know, she's poised, she's under control, she takes what the defense gives her.
Ustby now with 15 points. Three rebounds, 4 assists. Wagner has Thomas out on her. Biggest lead of the game. And another shot clock situation for the Eagles. Chancey pass. And another violation. BC is protesting. They're trying to say that we'll clean this up when we come back. Right now, a timeout on the floor. Carolina up.
It's time to announce our Jordan winner. Congratulations to Darius Baker, who won a pair of Jordans. Please report to section 114 to claim your prize.
ACC women's basketball is presented by Food Lion, the official grocer of the ACC. It is Ramsey's birthday today, the mascot for North Carolina, so his mascot posse is out here. We got Minnie Muddy from the Mudcats, Homer the Dragon from the Charlotte Knights, Swarmy from the Greensboro Swarm, and the very famous Woolly Bull from the the Durham Bulls, the minor league hockey team.
How many of these did you know prior to
After
today?
review, the ball did strike the rim. There was no possession on the
Durham
play.
Bull guy, that's about
It will be an AP arrow throw-in to Boston College underneath the basket.
All right, here's our clarification from Linda Miles.
Okay, so the ball did hit the rim, skimmed the rim. All right, so then they called the inadvertent whistle because of that, and that results in a jump ball, so a change of possession. So right there, it looks like it skimmed the rim.
It looked, but the shot clock had gone to zeros.
But she had let it go
She had already
first,
let it
so
go, okay.
so now because of the inadvertent whistle, it's not the out of bounds, it is a jump ball, and Boston College able to retain the possession.
The possession arrow pointing in their favor.
And we appreciate Linda Miles coming over here.
Yes, very good explanation from the Rutgers grad. 18 seconds to shoot. Njai looking for someone to throw it to. It's Sidbury. Njai being guarded by Grant as the shot clock dwindles. They need a shot. Todd. Short. Rebound, Thomas.
Boston College 4 of 18 from the field in this second half. Carolina's really done a good job of picking up their defensive energy and effort.
The Eagles have gotten to the free throw line in this half. They have not been productive. They only have 1 point in this quarter. Wagner 1 for 4 from the line in this quarter. She just picked up her 4th foul. Now goes out, and Athena Tomlinson comes back in. Got the start today. In the backcourt with Kayla Ivey. She has not played 1 second of this game. Grant super reliable at the free throw line the last couple of games for the Heels.
And her shooting percentages, you know, haven't looked good if you just look at the numbers, but I don't think that's indicative of where she's going to end up being. You know, she's just finding her way. We've mentioned she's young, still 17, doesn't turn 18 until April, reclassified, came in a year early. She's just going to continue to get better and more efficient.
DC looking for some offensive answers. Todd, nothing doing. Still don't have a field goal in this quarter. North Carolina's defense, first in the ACC. It's scoring defense, field goal percentage defense, three-point percentage defense, and we have seen that here in the second half. Ustby doesn't take a lot of shots from the outside. She got 17 points this afternoon.
Well, we've certainly seen her take more this year than we have in the past, and I think she has to keep the defense honest.
Finally, the first field goal of the 4th quarter for BC. It's Sidbury. It happened about 8.5 minutes in. Sorry, 6.5 minutes in. Todd bumped big time out on the perimeter by Townsend. 4th team foul, first on Townsend. A couple of freshmen, Green and Tomlinson, head to the bench. Ustby with 12 of her 17 points coming here in the second half. Zubic, number 3 for Carolina, back in. Long 3 by Samuel doesn't go. Now, Ustby sits down, perhaps for the rest of the game, and gets a well-deserved round of applause after she picked up her 4th foul. Then had a double-double against Duke, but also 11 turnovers, which really befuddled Coach Banghart. And no turnovers today for Ustby. Very good bounce back. Speaking of very good, ACC PM with Mark Packer comes your way weekdays at 4 Eastern right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app.
No, Alyssa Ustby was also very disappointed and upset with that performance. I wanted to watch film right after the game that evening. But, you know, she's experienced. She understands. She comes back. She's better tonight.
Carolina down by 3 at the half. They have owned the second half. Samuel now has 8 for BC, which is on a 6-0 run in the last minute. That's so much ground to make up. They are in the bonus, as is North Carolina. They're going to take the air out of the ball right now a little bit. And right now, there are 0 starters for Carolina out on the floor. Grant. With her 3-point field goal, she's into double figures.
And this is what you have to do if you're BC. You're in the penalty. You've got an opportunity to get points with no time running off the clock. But there's got to be more of a sense of urgency defensively. So if you're coming with the pressure, you got to try to create some steals. And in the half court, you cannot just let North Carolina dribble the air out of the ball. You got to put some pressure on them.
Five points for Sidbury at the line after Thomas's foul. North Carolina retains possession. Coach Mack's team, 3-game losing streak. Miami and Syracuse next before a home game against Notre Dame that we will have, as BC able to get the bucket from Samuel, who's down into double figures, but Thomas quickly answers on the other side.
Now, this is a small thing, but I love how Blanca Thomas didn't just stay content with staying at the 15-foot range and taking that shot. She dove to the rim, we call it a 90 cut in the W, dove at the rim, was able to get a layup.
Wagner on the floor. The ball stays with BC. Another collision out on the perimeter. The foul's called on Layla Hull. That is her second of the afternoon. And both teams in the bonus, so Wagner goes back, where she is 5 for 10 from the line. Her name is a 68% free throw shooter on the season. Got them both. Good trip that time. She's got 15. Big time pressure now. Grant has to call a timeout. Still plenty left in the timeout range for North Carolina. Alyssa Ustby. Good game for her. Good bounce back game after a lot of turnovers on Thursday, particularly here in the second half. She's out now with 4 personal fouls. Her team up 9 with $1:43 left to go. We are back now. North Carolina holding on to a lead over Boston College, but BC has had a nice little stretch here. get the game back to single digits, now just resorting to fouling. Samuel just picked up her second, and both teams in the bonus. Townsend heads to the line, where she's 2 for 2 this afternoon. And same high school as Laney Grant, but years apart. Grant, the 17-year-old, and Townsend, the grad student. Goes 1 for 2. To get the lead back. 12 points.
It's taking too long right here if you're Boston College. You got to get some quick scores, quick attacks at the rim. Force Carolina to defend without fouling. The clock is not your friend.
Right. The key right now for Carolina is not to foul. Samuel able to score, but a lot of time went off the clock.
And a lot of time without fouling right here.
Zubic could put it away, and she knocks it home. One minute left to go. And a lot of dribbling out there for BC, and then finally the travel. Carolina able to use their bench a lot today. In fact, bench points have been big for both teams. 27 points off the bench for BC, 28 for Carolina.
And getting game experience for some of these players who have been out of the rotation is really important. It pays dividends down the line. You want to try to build depth throughout your bench. Courtney Banghart able to use some rotations that at times hasn't been able to use in ACC play.
Again, 11 have played today. 11 players for Coach Banghart. BC a little short-handed with.
You only got 1 second to get the ball across half court, so either Courtney Banghart challenging her team right now, or she has an opportunity to use a timeout if she wants to.
Last touch by Boston College, so Carolina inbounds it, and BC without Kennedy Jackson, one of their captains, who was under the weather and was left home in Boston, and Kayla Ivey, who leads their team and is second in the ACC in assists per game, did not get off the bench today, nursing a hurt ankle.
We thought maybe we would see Ivey today. Wasn't quite able to give it a go.
North Carolina following up a tough loss to Notre Dame with wins over Duke, and they're going to get one here against Boston College. Thomas gets the rebound, and that will do it. A great second half. Carolina scoring 43 points in the third and fourth quarters combined, and they take it by the final of 80-67. They go to SMU and Pitt, then play Wake Forest in their next three. Coach Mack gets to go to Miami as they win it 80-67.